Now, I've grown up around cars. I'm the youngest of three brothers, so I got to help out with my brother's cars before I finally got my own. Now, my first car was a truck, and even though it had constant problems that I was constantly fixing, I fell in love with it regardless. I even put in a couple weekends worth of work to swap out the engine so I could keep it running. A little while after the engine change, someone close to me bought an electric car. Now, I always thought that these cars were slow, boring, pretty much only for local use considering the short range. It wasn't until I really sat down and thought about how big of an impact on the environment that I was having that I realized how necessary and viable electric really is, and that I don't need a pickup truck for my next vehicle. Our Earth is experiencing climate change at a rate that we've never seen before. Now, us humans are to blame for this, and cars are a very large contributing factor to climate change. Now, as electric vehicles become more affordable and the energy becomes more renewable, we really need to consider these alternatives to help lighten the load. These slow, boring, and local electric cars that we thought about a couple of years ago, that I thought about a couple of years ago, are a thing of the past. When I finally got to test drive this car over here, I realized that it is anything but slow.
With a 0 to 60 time ranging from your average BMW M3 to literally being the quickest car in the world, I was pleasantly surprised. I went from my truck, which barely even got to 60, to this thing, which gets to 60 before my truck even starts. As far as range goes, Tesla uses hundreds of these 18650 batteries, like the one in my hand, to go over 350 miles. Now, my truck had to be filled up in half of that. And as far as actually filling up, you just plug it in overnight, and when morning comes, you're good to go. You find yourself in a pinch, find a supercharger, and a half an hour will do it for you. While you're waiting there, Tesla can entertain you with video games or even movies on the entertainment center. I find that Tesla has jump-started an electric vehicle movement. And as far as my involvement, just test driving one, it makes me excited to be an environmental activist. Now, I'm a car person, I've always been, and it was difficult for me to get over my love for the internal combustion engine. That roar and the scream as you slam on the pedal and accelerate, but after driving this, I realized that there are other aspects of electric vehicles to get excited about and to make you smile.
Now that electric vehicles are becoming far more affordable and almost every auto manufacturer is releasing their own line of electric cars, I hope to pick one up for myself, even if it has to be a used one, because unlike what we're used to, electric vehicles do not have a lot of wear and tear. There's not nearly as many moving parts inside of them. So I hope to pick one up, and I hope you do too, because every little bit counts.